What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. One of the largest Solana whales has just come back and started buying Sol again. This is absolutely incredible. All his buys have been documented on chain, and this is what he's just doing. He's just bought 47,000 Solana, and in this video, I'm going to give you my bear market take on Solana as a whole, because what I've published is a generational report in the Discord and also on the Patreon side for the community that is all about Solana. On-chain, what's going on with the RWA dominance in terms of stablecoin liquidity, and where Solana is weak, obviously where it's very strong. It's very weak right now on retail. Of course, you always have the never-ending Pump.fun and Solana ecosystem meme coins that are printed every single day. But fundamentally, there is not much of a retail presence when it comes to the big money. So if you're hoping to buy Solana this bear market, you don't want to miss this video. I'm going to give you ecosystem coins, where to buy them at, and all of that, all of the good things. So all I want you to do is smash a like, of course, and if you can give us a thumbs up, that would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, let's go straight into it. So what's going on today in crypto? You're seeing a bounce to $65,000 rather, largely due to the fact that Mr. Trump, who's obviously been the worst president for crypto, in my opinion, very manipulative, announcing tariffs. Ever since he came in, we've seen nothing but BS. And of course, today it was a bit of a sell the news event. We've got two major things happening. He's meeting the likes of, the DTCC and AI CEOs and crypto heads and all of that. That's why we've been pumping significantly. Now, 4% move on Bitcoin is monumental in these days in a bear market. But what we can clearly see is liquidity to the upside, of course. And this liquidation heat map here is at $65,000. We're starting to see a sell-off purely because of the fact that this was sell the news event that Bitcoin was heading into. In the short term, or short to medium term, I am still expecting some kind of a bull trap above $70,000 before we see Bitcoin retrace and obviously come back down and go into another slight or one final leg up. We are 50 days away from the traditional bear market cycle, so you've got to really remember that. So what we've seen here with Solana, since this is a Solana video, is 10 consecutive red monthly candles. That is monumental by any standards, and that tells you it's been in a bear market now for almost a year. Since we topped here, most of the altcoins topped in the summer. But overall, in my thesis, in my research, Solana has never done this before. It's never had that many streaks on monthly candles, except, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way back. You've got to go all the way back to 2022 bear market. And this is crazy, right? So really, what's going on here is there's one Solana project in the DePIN category that I've been holding it since 2024, and it has done absolutely amazing. And that's GEODNET. From where I got in to where it's at now, I'm still in profit. But after 10 consecutive red candles for the first time in its history, this is going to be an opportunity, right? Is it an opportunity? Yes or no? You've got to define your key levels. $87 to the upside, $74 to the downside. That is the key levels. But what projects should you be looking at? And what other catalysts does Solana have? So everybody was worried about the FTX state. I have actually addressed this, the overhang on Solana, and I think it's negligible considering these will normally be sold through OTC desks. So despite the fact that there was unstaked 200,000 Solana worth about $15 million, I don't think that is going to be a major headwind at this stage of the bear market, in my opinion. Okay, so in addition to that, they've obviously generated 37,000 SOL over 5 years of staking. So original positions were worth around $300,000. That stake Solana now is at $15 million. Naturally, I'm not concerned about that, okay? Because FTX has gone through this previously, and the state has unstaked. And obviously, they've always done this through exchanges, OTC, mostly through OTC desks. Okay, so it's going to be a controlled explosion, in my opinion, and it's kind of priced in. Okay. The second thing was Solana came very close to having an outage last week, and Terra Switch temporarily knocked approximately 28% of Solana's stake supply offline. That was corrected, and there is actually one major catalyst coming for Solana at the end of the day. It wasn't a Solana shutdown, it wasn't an outage, but it's just a serious warning. There are other layer ones waiting in the wings that will be able to take care of that. Okay. So overall, on-chain, Solana still has a DeFi total log value of about 4.8 billion. Stablecoin market cap dominance is at 15 billion. RWA active market cap is at 2 billion. In my opinion, where Solana really, really excels is the institutional adoption, and the retail sector is very tiny compared to, of course, if you take Pump.fun out, it's very, very tiny. Institutions are bidding on Solana. I don't see the same with retail. Now, the retail will have opportunity. Obviously, if you're watching a video like this, the distinction between, institution and retail is going to be distinctive, because eventually when it moves, retail is likely to play a catch-up role and obviously chase the trade. In my opinion, Solana is dominating tokenized funds. Ethereum's number one. Solana is pretty much number two. Stablecoin settlements, incredibly fast and very cheap. Global payments, deep in infrastructure, AI and GPU marketplaces, consumer-facing financial applications. So this is where institutions are mostly bidding, where retail is meme, degen heavy on the Solana chain. When that retail volume picks up, the chances are it will pick up through likes of Pump.fun. But if you are one of these people that are looking for a decent 5, 10, 20x or whatever, then you want to pay attention to this video, because the watch list itself is absolutely unique. No one's actually doing this level of research for a small channel like us. And honestly, when I did this research, I was just like over the moon, because the entire weekend was spent on making sure that we've got a snapshot of at least what's happening. I'm not telling you to buy these, but at least what's happening, giving you some quality information here. So you can see here, I said, front door to Solana DeFi is none other than Jupiter. Now, obviously, at the time of writing this was like, over 16 cents. Slightly, you can see that for an infrastructure play of such importance, you can see that the price is literally is on the floor. In addition to that, we've got this wick here from the October burn down that has not been filled. Now that sits around that 6 cents. So in my opinion, I will be bidding below 10 cents. All right. If the market capitulates, you can dollar cost average right now, but this is an important level that I would be putting some additional funds or heavy funds into it. So this would be one that I'm interested in. Very, very small market cap for, if you compare, for example, Uniswap over 2 billion, and if you compare Solana's market cap to its number one, liquidity hub here, you've got 550 million. It is definitely the leading aggregation execution layer on Solana, and it routes orders across Raydium, Orca, Meteora, and the rest of it. So this is a very important project at $550 million market cap. Of course, you've got spot aggregations. One thing that people don't know about Jupiter is the prediction markets. I have actually dabbled into that, and it's incredibly fast and incredibly powerful. So Jupiter is one to watch. Base case, $1.70, simple 10x. Bull case, I think this can break its previous all-time high, in my opinion. Best buy below 10 cents. So I'm not telling you to buy this unless you see additional value there, but it is already pretty much undervalued based on its TVL to market cap ratio. Okay, and price to TVL ratio as well. Second project is Render. Now, Render is not one that I'm, I held Render in the last cycle. I sold it. Great, I've made money in Render, but I'm not breaking my neck to be here, but it is an established AI and deep in play. And that is the exposure for slightly less upside, but overall relatively safe at 657 million. Now, what I do here is I trade this, all right? And I will take a trade and I will make crazy money on it because I know how the chart behaves. Again, we have the outstanding October wick, which is about 50 cents. So I'm not really interested in below unless we see prices close below $1. And I'm going to be patiently waiting for that. And that's what I told the community. So 2025 wick is at 50 cents. And anytime we see below $1, I think that is going to be fairly straightforward 10x, approximately $600 million market cap. Could this get up to 6 billion? I think it has every chance of doing that. But it is established, multi-cycle. It's going to have multiple levels of resistance here, key resistance here, major resistance here above $4. Okay, so you can't necessarily be greedy, but will it go back to its all-time high? As long as we clear, this is going to be the major $4 area, between $4 to $6 is going to be super key for render. All right, so that is your GPU play on Solana. That is well established, and of course, it is obviously, it's got massive competition, and I do talk about the risk as well. The risk for this one is going to be competition from the likes. It's a crowded market. DePIN is one of the most, it's as useful as RWAs. I would say probably one of the most decentralized, physical infrastructure. Is absolutely key to the age of AI, right? Decentralization being, you're going to be having ownership, right? That's the whole key, not Amazon, not AWS. And that's what crypto provides. Now, it is a crowded market here, so you need to watch out for a cash network, IONET, which is completely beaten down, Aether, which is complete garbage, in my opinion. Nosana within Solana, this is a very risky degen, and we'll talk about that. But the likes of course, Akash and Bitenso Tau do provide decentralized computing networks. So that is going to be the competition for, once upon a time, Render was the undoubted leader in the GPU space. Now you've got others, okay? So potentially lower risk, very good trade if you are leveraging 5 to 10x on a leverage is pretty decent in a trended market. Decentralized compute, expect less asymmetry than smaller competitors, but potentially greater survivability. We're looking for survivability. Coin number 3 to look at in the Solana network is my absolute favorite, and that is GEODNET. Since I got into this below 10 cents, it's never gone back there. And GEODNET, for those of you who don't know, is precision mapping. It got listed on Coinbase, had a massive pump here, went all the way nearly to 24 cents. But this project, in my opinion, is a real business out in the real world, providing real solutions. And the fact that I got into this at these lows here in 2024, and it's never really gone back there, right? It has traded below 20 cents, but it's never really dipped below 10 cents for a very long time. It is a smaller market cap. Best buy below 15 cents if it comes back into this range, but the breakout was vicious. So I would see probably 18 to 16 cents, this level to be retested, and it's already looking like it's doing that right now. But best buy would be below, in my opinion, generational buy below 10 cents. And after listed on Coinbase, on the grayscale list of cryptocurrencies, that positioning for drones, agriculture machines, that's all out there, verifiable and provable, okay? So the More Station, obviously, it's a continuous flywheel, but they have these small stations that anybody can actually mine, and you can put it on top of your house or wherever. And literally, the more coverage they have, the more enterprise users they will get, in my opinion. 80% revenue funded by buybacks and burns, which is brilliant. It's a clear value accrual, in my opinion, okay? The risk, must keep commercial revenue growing faster than emissions. That is absolutely key, because if you're earning rewards, what you need is you've got to increase that. But I can see the use case. Look at drone warfare. Look at the development that's happening with drones in the Ukraine, in the battlefield. Drones are just at the start. I mean, I've seen drones washing buildings. I've seen drones making deliveries. We're starting to get into that AI crossover with robotics, drones. This is a very, very important project, in my opinion, and big money has hands in there. Coin number 4, PayFi Bet. Now, ever since I reported here that there was a whale distributing on Zebec, it has gone down. And I'm not surprised because that whale holds a massive, a ton of projects. I think it was about 10 billion or whatever it was. But he kept on selling. And no doubt, I was telling people to calm down when this was well over $400 million in market cap. And I was proven to be right because Zebec has been on a brutal downtrend. He's not fully out yet. We are in the region where it should really find support. A lot of people are scared. And of course, retail has followed with dumping the bags because the fact that they don't understand there is a whale distributing in there. But in my opinion, they are building a real-time payroll payments. It's an American-made product. And of course, it is one of the smaller RWA projects made in the USA and real fundamentals, both as a DePIN and an AI project, in my opinion. So if they can get their payrolls going, if they get obviously close to the White House or whatever, there is obviously opportunity here. Right now, huge upside, huge risk, and you got to balance that. In terms of dollar value, Ondo's my largest NWA bag, or RWN, and NWA. Yeah, screw the police. Anyway, PayFi, DePIN, they have their own payment terminal. I would keep an eye on this because it's gone through a brutal bear market. But according to Nansen, there is one whale that is distributed. So that's why you've seen the beatdown. The next one's for the degens, Nosana. Now, this is pretty much, this is a degen play. Don't really care about this, but $25 million market cap. There was, I forgot his name. There was a big player in here who used to make content on it. He's since then disappeared. He only comes back in the bull market. He's an Irish guy, an amazing Solana guy. Solana millionaire. I forgot his name anyway. But hey, look, GPU marketplace, and a lot of people will promise you 100x. I ain't going to promise you that. You may potentially lose your money because this is very, very, very small. But it did have a generational run. And in my opinion, this is the most riskiest one in my research. So speculative, not a core holding, right? So please don't misunderstand me. Upside could be substantial, but you've got to put the lunch money on there. I would rather much prefer coin number 6, which is Raydium. Now, Raydium is, in terms of their circulating supply, market cap, which is 167 million, and the fully diluted at 300 million, very tiny, but TVL still well over $800 million. Okay, total supply is only 555 million, so it's not a billion token project. It is 555 million. So these tend to be in the region of $5 to $10 usually, and it has previously gone all the way. It did numbers, right? It did crazy numbers. I think almost close to $20. So what is Raydium? Remains as a foundational liquidity layer with Solana. It pools support, standard token swap, concentration liquidity, token launches. So you've got to understand the layer 1 is the gateway to the major funds. But these smaller tokens are what really, they're going to move mad. So if Solana RWA takes off, like I've been talking about, then these are the smaller projects that are fundamentally crucial to Solana that will take off, okay? Permissionless institutional pools. So there's a portion of the protocol fees that purchase the Raydium token in the open market. So that's kind of like buyback scheme that it has. And in my opinion, this is one of the cleanest infrastructure bets on Solana. Market cap is tiny compared to where it could go. And in my opinion, this is one for the bank. Next one is Pump.fun. Now, if the US administration changes in the next couple of years, blah, 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 there is a court case hanging over these guys, right? The whales want to pump this. They want to put the retail in it. I can see the fact that this could do very well. And you've got to get out because there's heavy whale concentration. But they have undoubtedly one of the largest fee generating projects in the entirety of the crypto market. Okay. So it's at $1 billion. You're not going to make 100x here, but I do tend to trade this one. So the lawsuit is where you need to think about. But in my opinion, I do have a substitute project that will outdo this one in terms of revenue generation. So if meme coin activity disappears, which is very unlikely, revenue can contract. And of course, that's the risk. Unlocks 1 trillion token supply and limited utility beyond buybacks and burns remain its constraints. Potentially the strongest pure revenue machine in crypto, of course, depends on how long people stay in meme coins. But I'd rather get into this. $80 million, $88 million. Meteora is a liquidity specialist, high Vs versus the market cap. Now, this generates around $3-4 million a month, which is incredible. In my opinion, it's never had a bull market, and it's far better bet with their liquidity pools and safer in the long term and smaller with more potential upside than Pump.fun. Meteora is one that I hold, and I'm going to continue to dollar cost average into it because I genuinely believe they are building something here. So in terms of the best buy, you are literally at two key levels here. We've been ranging on this current level. In my opinion, I think this one is as solid as it could get. TVL is at 260, so nearly 4x the market cap. Okay, so you can DCA into this one. Low liquidity compared to the others, of course, but it does provide something that the others don't. And if something happens to Pump.fun, I can see these guys stepping in and taking market share. They generated 140 million in liquidity pools alone. You can actually earn, liquidity fees there if you wanted to. And they've had a massive volume of 32 billion. Of course, the risk products are more complicated for passive users. That's the problem. Competition is intense with the rest, and that's the usual risk that you'll get there. But from where the market cap is, I really can't see a lot that could potentially go wrong there. Strongest pure Solana DeFi, one of them, especially if it maintains market share beyond meme coins this cycle. Next coin here, so is Pengu. Okay, so number 8, Meteora. Number 9 is Pengu. And why do I like Pengu? Now, Pengu is just a brand, okay? The market cap at $300 million. There's a lot of heavy concentration in there. It's obviously, it's done something that NFT projects failed to achieve. It built a recognizable consumer brand outside of crypto. But beyond that, it's not done much, okay? Games, licensing, entertainment, payment products. I can see a lot of whales talking about this. In fact, a lot of the KOLs, the major ones that you know about, have been paid previously to talk about this. But as a brand with a lot of opportunities in retail, this could be a version of, a Pepe this cycle, okay? Just take that as my own assessment and don't make that a conviction. So that will be the other coin that I would look at. So core infrastructure, Jupiter, Raydium, Meteora. Meteora is another meme coin. Differentiated liquidity, its unique selling point. Established, more recognizable infrastructure plays. Render is huge. GEODNET, real world revenue, physical AI exposure with drones. Zebec, I wouldn't say it's as established as the others. There's plenty more Solana projects that are more established. But I think in the space of the RWA, I think that would be an infrastructure pay-fi deep in their payment terminal is the one to watch. Risk, Nosana, Pump.fun, and Pengu. Now, obviously, when I say risk, I'm talking about the court case here. When I say risk on Nosana, I'm talking about the fact that people have loaded up on this KOLs and they are likely to dump on 5-10x because they've maybe got $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 in there. And it is the lowest. So there is no guarantee it will come back. And then, of course, strongest consumer brand, weaker direct utility. If they pay KOLs again, I can see that pumping really heavy. So overall, Solana strategy, hold 74 or go to $50, reclaim $87 and improve momentum. FTX wallets, worth watching but not sweating over. about watch network resilience. I think if it has another outage, that will send us to $50. I'll buy some more. Prioritize survivors, usage, tokenomics, buybacks, and burns. That's very important. I'm not interested in buying every Solana token or coin. Definitely, I trade some on the future side of things, and I tend to flip some on the opportunity that they present themselves. So this was a major report. I do have more to talk about when it comes to Solana, but just pay attention to this whale. Bought massively at the current level, and he's just returned to buy some more again and again. Has been absent prior for 2 years or 3 years, sold near the top, and he started to load up again. So hope you like the Solana video. That is everything you need for Solana in this bear market. Smash a like. Of course, you can see we're putting a lot of effort. Shout out to the sponsors of the video, Nansen, Mexi, Tangent, and our new partners, OneKey. Take care, guys.